Hello, all of you vaingloriously wonderful people. This is the Vapid Slamtruck, and I'm about to find out if it'll off-road. I laugh because, well, let's face it, the chances are pretty slim of this thing getting to the top of the mountain. I mean, it sits too low. If you raise it up high, you lose your grip. It has a lot of wheel spin, even on just asphalt. It doesn't have good off-road traction loss values. I love the look of this truck. Oh my god, donkey, that car. I love the look of this truck, but it's useless. I mean, you can't use it as a tow truck. Cars just fall off the back. It's clearly not the best to drive. I mean, one little bit of extra blip on the throttle and around that back end came, which... Should a tow truck really be that terrible with its grip? I mean, yeah, a tow truck needs to have a lot of torque to be able to get underway when it's carrying a load. But this thing has dually tires. It should have a lot more grip. It should not be doing that wheel spin at all. I mean, that's the whole point of having 4 tires in the rear on utility type vehicles, is that extra set of tires in the back gives more surface area that's contacting the road, therefore more friction against the road, therefore more grip. That's the whole point of it. That's why you see like a lot of farm trucks and things and tractors and all that with double tires in the back. 18 wheelers, same thing. You know, it just helps them put more power down. But this poor thing just doesn't benefit from it. I guess Rockstar couldn't figure out how to model that in the handling files, because it should, in theory, do better, because it has a lot of power, but it just has 0 grip. And because of that, I mean, you're seeing it. Because of that, it's just not good. Oh man, we missed out on criminal damage. I love criminal damage. Oh, people are just falling down the mountain. But hey, at least it has backup paper. I thought I could go from here, but I forgot just exactly how long the ramp behind the rear wheels was, and because of that, my wheels were actually off the ground for a bit. So, gonna go a little farther back if I can get the path cleared. Hobo's always good about getting out of the way. It's everybody else that really struggles. You may hear machine gun fire in the distance. Sven was in his Caracara. Decided he was just going to hunt Donkey and Dark Doctor for sport while I was struggling to get this truck up the mountain. And it is a struggle. I really wanted it to make it. I just thought it would have been hilarious, especially seeing some of those really tight turns. Seeing this long truck try to get up. I think this is the run we get the farthest on. I'm trying my best to modulate the throttle so that I'm just not nothing but wheel spin. But the thing is, the second you get off any power on this and the wheel stops spinning, it's also not enough power to keep it moving up the incline. So going back down, remember, general rule of Vapid Off-Road is it gets 3 attempts at any one given section. And if on that 3rd attempt it fails, then we call it a DNF. It's pretty fair. I mean, if you can't make it up in 3 tries, you're not making it up. So I wanted to get a lot of speed on this run, and that speed cost me right there. The back end came out. If I could have carried it, it would have been better. But sadly, yeah, DNF. It's a DNF. And we're going to have to use some very unconventional means to get to the top of the mountain. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about after Hobo finishes falling over. Yeah, I'm in the back of a bombushka. A cargo bomb couldn't lift this. I couldn't place it in the death match. So, and we couldn't use our normal solution of things that can't be cargo bombed of just kind of ramming them up the mountain with an insurgent on the trail, because the insurgent just went right over. Every vehicle just went right over because of the ramp in the back. So instead, there's Bombushka, slightly unconventional way to start the damage descent instead of our normal run up to it. But hey, you know what? Sven dropped me almost perfectly. I mean, the only way it could have been 100% perfect is if I could have been on the very top and then drove down to the ramp and drove off the ramp. Otherwise, he got me right where I needed to be. I went off the mountain right next to the ramp. And since this thing is nose heavy, I just dove the second he opened up that cargo hatch. Donkey in a completely different vehicle because he couldn't figure out how to get the donk up the mountain. Can be done, but the donk, not a very good off-roader. Everybody thinks it is because of that massive lift, but they're wrong. It just, I mean, to make it go over a rock nicely, but that car doesn't have any grip. But we're not talking about the donk right now. We're talking about the Slamtruck, which is taking an absolute beating. There's already a huge engine rattle. That could have came just from the trip over here. In the behind-the-scenes version of the video that's available for supporters, you can actually see just how much this thing bounced around inside of that Mambushka. It's the Mambushka, right? Yeah, it's Mambushka. And that is to say it was a considerable amount. I could not get this thing turned around whatsoever. But you can check out that supporters only video if you are a Twitch subscriber, YouTube member, or Patreon supporter. All three of those, if you're on the Vainglorious Discord server and you have your Discord profile linked to those services, all three of those will grant you the supporter role, which gives you access to the supporters channel on our Vainglorious Discord server, which is where I post the links to the behind the scenes videos. They are not public videos. They're up as unlisted videos. So that's how you gain access to it. And this video especially is one worth watching. We had to get very creative to get this truck to the top of the mountain to be able to do a damage descent. There's the Mambushka, causing a traffic jam. Yeah, that engine's rattling bad. Though, what engine? It's the weirdest engine bay model, I think, in GTA. It's peculiar. But we are finally down on the damage descent. 2 minutes, 38 seconds. So, let's take a look at the damage. Most of the lights and all of the windows are gone, along with the hood in the left door. There is some minor body damage, so a tiny bit of a damage model. And there is engine damage. Of course, we will take a look at the support vehicles. We've got a couple parked there, and then there's one stuck up the mountain, and we've got our support plane. And then that's going to bring us to our next vehicle. The Grotti Brioso 300. I love this little car. It's just fun to drive. It's not fast, and it doesn't handle well and all that, but it's just a fun little car to drive. So why not try it and not wheel it off-road? I mean, we do all the DLC vehicles, so we do them all anyway. By the way, this is the next to last week for Will It Off-Road in its regular format, and then we will have 2 weeks. Well, actually, after next week's video, we'll have a week break where we do another episode of The Hunt. And then we will do Will It Off-Road at the Races, where we will take the 2 fastest and the 2 slowest from the Cayo Perico heist update and race them up the mountain. Of course, there's only 8 contenders in that list because 3 of the vehicles cannot be taken in a race. Maybe even 4. I'm not sure about the Toreador, but it doesn't matter because it's not in contention. But it's close. It's the 3rd fastest of the DLC, but it's not. It didn't get second, so I don't have to worry about it. But I don't know where the 2 vetoes land, and of course the tier pretty useless. So all of those 3 aren't even in there. So there's really only 8, possibly only 7 that's in contention. But right now it's looking like we'll be racing the Manchez Scout and the Italia RSX. And then for last place, I don't know because I haven't edited the video with the Varus yet. Though the current last place vehicle is the Winky with the Weevil right above that. So as long as the Varus isn't slower than either of those will be the 2 slowest. And you'll get to see us race those up and down the mountain. By the way, on the Slamtruck with that DNF, it joins the ranks of 25 other vehicles that have DNF'd and rolled off-road. And that's out of 296 that we've tested as of this video. So, not quite 10%, but still a pretty significant number of vehicles. In the utilities class, it is joined by the Airtug, the Ripley, the Lawnmower, and the Caddy for other vehicles in its class that also DNF'd, which is to say, I think, most utility vehicles not really made to go up a mountain. Who knew? The Brioso also not made to go up a mountain, but it's low enough on power that it doesn't have wheel spin, but just enough that it can get up the climbs, the really steep stuff. So I just had to keep my, the pedal down to the carpet, and it eventually gets there. Because it's low on power, I didn't really have to worry about it spinning out and getting out of control on me. I don't think this thing has enough power to spin its wheels in the dirt. I can barely hear the engine running, honestly. I mean, it's just such a quiet little car. However, it stops dead on bushes, and people who are following too closely get a ticket for causing an accident. So, citation issued, Commander Hobo. But it's still climbing. I mean, obviously, we're not going to get, any records here. Never expected it to. It's pretty far down in the overall order. And it's not even all that impressive for compacts, honestly. It's just taking its time, but getting there. Just, reliable. It can do it, just not with any sense of urgency. Don't remember if it makes this climb or not. Oh, close. Nope. We're going to have to back up and do a little bit of a run. I think maybe if I had waited to turn just a few feet farther and wouldn't have gone up quite as steep, it may have been able to make that climb without having to back up. But I didn't, so here we are. Yeah, I think if I would have kind of gone for this approach angle initially, I think I could have carried the speed in that turn and gotten right up. But, oh, hello, Hobo. We are up and nearly missing our mark in 3 minutes, 54 seconds. So, will it off-road? Yeah, like I said, slow. In fact, that makes it 6th in compacts out of 11 compacts that we have tested. 21 seconds faster than the hateful little car whose name I do not speak. 20 seconds slower, sorry, than that car. And 13 seconds faster than the Blista, the regular Blista. Because the Blista Compact, despite being a compact, isn't. Anyways. Yeah. It is 223rd overall, again, with 296, so yeah, it didn't really beat but 70 some odd vehicles, and a third of those DNF, so not really saying much. It is 0.2 of a second slower than the Yoga Classic, but 2 seconds faster than the Manana, and because I remembered to give the stats on all the vehicles, make sure you're playing Will It Off-Road Bingo. It has recently been updated, so if you've played previously, you had it bookmarked, or we're just going to get it from your history, click the link in the description down below. Make sure you get a fresh card. We added a bunch of new categories. Some people have been looking at the categories to see if they have suggestions for additional things that can appear on your bingo card. And of course, all you do is click Generate Card. Hi, Hobo. I'm going really slow, by the way, because this thing has no brakes. We click on Generate Card, and then you tap or click based upon what happens in the video. And if you score bingo, you leave it in the comments down below. I think I just saw a random Schvinn fly by. Yeah, he's down the mountain somewhere now. I don't know. He does those unconventional lines, as we call. Oh, I have the hiccups. I do apologize. I drank a whole bunch of water really fast right before I recorded this. And I think it gave me the hiccups. But anyway, so yeah, just going slow because, again, the brakes aren't very good. And what I'm afraid of is because it's such a tiny little car, but if I get too much speed on any jump or bump, it's just going to go flying. Though, managed to take out that hiker. Got a little more brave as we got towards the end. Let myself get a bit more speed. Though, to be honest, I'm mostly coasting. Every once in a while, I kind of blip the throttle. But this is mostly just coasting and engine braking. This car does have a pretty good simulation of engine braking. Big jump. Not enough speed to really worry anything about, and that horn is incredibly obnoxious. Whoever it is, don't ever honk that horn again. That's just unnecessary. Look at that, even got some air. This is about the only place on the entire course that I can really open up the throttle and let it move. So yeah, it did well. That's Donkey with that annoying horn. Of course it is. Former Vainglorious Lieutenant Donkey, now back to the role of representative in the crew. He knows what he did. Whoa, hello, Hobo, and hello, Sven? Yeah, I think that was Sven. Ooh, that turned into a little too soon. That could have really been a sick drift otherwise, but whatever. This little thing has good grip though. I mean, it's not fast, but you know, it did really well around that corner. We're down 3 minutes, 7 seconds. So we're gonna go back to the top of Mount Chiliad after we watch somebody jump over there. With an Avenger making a random appearance. Of course, it's already been in the video a couple of times. And we're gonna fling this thing off the top of the mountain and see just how much damage this little guy, or gal, however you choose to look at it, suffers. Everybody else in their Brioso's a little farther ahead of me. I kind of got stuck in a bit of a tree for a while. And then there's Sven. Oh, Sven. So I guess that wasn't Sven that went flying ahead of me. It was Donkey. Everybody shedding body parts, as Commander Hobo says. We were having a garage sale on auto parts that day. So, in fact, there's Hobo's engine cover. Well, actually, like the back third of his car, not just his engine cover. There's somebody else's front. That's Donkey's. And it had to have been Donkey with that really annoying horn. Had to have been. Oh, I'm a bit stuck. But it's okay, because I managed to somehow just drive over a rock. And then boot a giant Grotti out of my way. So little Grotti, little Grotti bullying the big Grotti. But this thing's just bouncing all around. It's just a holo tree. Hi, where are we? There we are. It's so lightweight that every little thing just upsets it and causes its cute little body to just, you know, bounce all around. But look at this. Almost perfect through there. But then I had to hit the tree. That could have been really beautiful, but oh well. Not enough speed to have to worry about threading the needle there, but managed to get it through there almost perfect, but hit the wall and rolled several times as a result. So back down into the bumpy muddy bits because that's where we're meant to be. There's someone's MOC, don't know why that's here. Find a little bit, jump up this little climb, way too much speed, and hit the wood pile. But hey, whatever. Hobo has a vendetta against that fence, and we are down in 1 minute, 55 seconds. Let's take a look at the damage on the Brioso. Most of the lights and windows are gone. The front cover is missing. The doors and engine cover will not close, and there is minor body damage. And of course, we will also take a look at our support vehicles. Yeah, everybody took quite the beating there. I think this thing has damage on it because Donkey's is pretty beat up. Well, that's going to do it for this week's Full Off-Road. Come hang out with us on the Vainglorious Discord server. Make sure you play Will Off-Road Bingo. And until next time, I'm Brandon, reminding you to stay vainglorious.